mix of brownstones and larger apartment buildings and smaller apartment buildings. And it has grown, well, pretty much exponentially since then. I monthly newsletter, phone calls. Right now, I'm delivering homemade grandma cookies to all the people in my, not all the people in my spheres, but my clients and customers. There was a fundraiser for a mayoral candidate last night, and I handed out about 24 cookie packages there. So I do a variety of things to stay in touch with my sphere of influence.
Okay. And what percentage of the business is coming from that?
The I'd say 75% of my business is coming from that.
Okay. There's a lecture that I give. If you want to see it on YouTube, search Edmund Bogen, You Have the Leads. You already have the leads, guys. For the overwhelming majority of us, there's a lot of people that are our loved ones even. I tell the story about how my father gave a referral to someone who was moving to Miami, thinking, well, you're a country club guy, you don't work Miami. Bullshit. I've got people there that work Miami, Dad. How do you do? My name's Ed. What's your name? Oh, yeah, you're my father. They forget these things. If you don't remind people who you're closest with, sometimes that works out. Lisa, can you unmute yourself? I want to pick on you a little bit and see how things are done in Scottsdale.
Um, how things are done. Well, I rely heavily on my sphere, but I've sucked at it in the past year.
So why of all these things? Because and it took a lot of courage to say that, and I really do appreciate that. Why do we suck at the people who are the most logical people to market to?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't suck, but the year sucked.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to figure out why, and I have to take some responsibility in that. I try really hard to keep in touch with my sphere.
Good. I think you should.
I just had my big 8th annual pie party, and I did a food drive for our local food bank. I got $1,300 in cash donations and over 1,000 pounds of food. Gave away, I don't know, 60 pies. And I mean, everybody has a good time and looks forward to it. I'm a solo agent, so it gets difficult to keep up with all of it. That's my one time a year that I get to really connect with people.
Sure. Look, sometimes, and Lisa and Terry and everybody could kind of chime in on this. Sometimes it's wondering, it worked last year. Is it going to work again this year? And I'll give you an example. I threw a party at my country club. It might be, the dollar amount might be different than what you're used to spending on, but the story is the same. I put on, for when I turned 54, I'm 56 now. I did the 41st anniversary of my bar mitzvah. I thought it'd be kind of funny, and it was. And I made a yarmulke with a QR code on the inside, and I rented the ballroom here. Okay, now here's the admission, and it's going to make you kind of fall out of your seat. The party cost me $15,000. Okay, kind of a shocker. Aside from the goodwill and the things that I got from the team, I attribute a direct sale for $7,100,000. It resulted in over $210,000 commission. It's pretty good return, right? Would you say
I would
so?
say.
Yeah. Now, how come I haven't done it again? I just want to
show a lot of work.
Well, because you don't know if lightning's going to actually strike twice. You don't know if it's actually, so I see this, and one of the things I've always loved about you, Lisa, is that you keep very consistently going out there. Now, maybe making pies is not as expensive as throwing an adult mock bar mitzvah. But the point is that there's been a certain level of consistency that has worked out. When have you, Lisa, or anyone in here thought you were going to pull the trigger, but decided not to because of, you could finish the sentence, fear, thoughts of not working out? Who's got something to throw in on that? And that's a hard one, but again, I really would applaud anyone who chimes in with me here. Heather, you could jump in. Carmen, you could jump in. Carmen, I always see you like quietly here. You could jump in. Aton, you could jump in. Somebody, for God's sakes, I'm dying out here.
I've thought about doing other events, Edmund.
Okay.
And, maybe because that's in the fall, I've thought, and we have a very seasonal market here. So it's kind of fall and then spring, right? The snowbirds are here through April. So I was going to try to do something again in, the springtime, but that's my hopefully busy time. And I just couldn't pull it together. And quite honestly, I didn't want to spend the money. I was going to do a cruise on one of the lakes that, I mean, it could have been nice. Put everybody on a boat and then they're stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a good point. And well, but what would be some of the other reasons for not doing it? In other words, I'm not the only one who said that I did this, it worked, and then we didn't do it again. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one who's had that. What
No,
are some of the things now, Lisa, if I told you guaranteed that you're going to 10x your investment, you'd probably get back out on the boat, right?
probably would.
Yeah. So it's that fear of doubt that actually comes in for all of us. Again, not just Lisa, and I don't want to pick on her at all. Lisa, I'm a huge fan of hers. That we actually have this real connection for a passion for growth. But I'm trying to find out from all of you what has actually gone on in the past where you might have gotten some business from this vital group of people that are largely ignored, your inner sphere. And I want to be able to try and build a marketing campaign personalized for that person. In other words, one of the things that I've got, does anyone use Follow Up Boss?
Yes.
Okay, Lisa uses Follow Up Boss. No one else uses Follow Up Boss here? Okay, well, Lisa uses Follow Up Boss. Again, tough crowd. Nobody wants to talk. I get it. One of the things that Follow Up Boss has in it is you can mark someone's birthday down in the, you can note that in the CRM. Follow Up Boss is a customer relation management tool. And if you save their birthday, you could also put into it a day to send a birthday message. So if I have your email address and you've not opted out of it, and your birthday actually hits, December 11th, you're going to get an email from me that says happy birthday with the dog jumping up and down on a trampoline. Okay. For those of you who got a birthday message, I hope that doesn't kill it for you. I really did think of you. It might have been assisted by AI, but bear with me for just 1 second. We have this, and I can't tell you just how remarkable it is, what a great response I've gotten from that silly, stupid dog jumping up and down on a trampoline. It just went over really, really well. So I'm thinking that kind of thing where you could actually build a personalized campaign around the folks that actually matter. And that's something that not enough of you are doing. So if you could stop and think through who gave you the last several leads, I really do need you guys to talk here. It's a real challenge to run this meeting when there's no interaction. So if I pick on you, please do. Heather, I'm picking on you now. Can you please unmute yourself? Heather Cooper, please.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. Now I need some interaction here. So sorry, I'm going to be a little pushy. So tell me about your business and what percent is actually coming from sphere of influence and past clients.
Probably not enough, to be perfectly frank.
Okay.
No judgment here. I don't know, maybe like 20%, 30% or so.
Okay. And what do you attribute that to? In
I mean,
other words, were they happy with the service in the first place, or do you have a fairly strong sphere at this point?
I do, but it can definitely be tightened. Like I don't, give out Thanksgiving pies or have the client appreciation parties. So that could certainly be tightened up. Yeah.
Okay. What could be, I'm going to ask you this, I'm going to ask Mark this, I'm going to ask Terry this, and I'm going to ask Hedeka this as well. What is a motivation? I know that the birthday comes, I could send them a dog jumping up and down on a trampoline. What else can you do to communicate with those people?
I mean, I think quarterly calls. I always remember the birthdays, the anniversaries, the holidays. But yeah, I guess more interaction. I mean,
Okay.
getting later is not sufficient.
Okay.
Uh,
So, okay. Anything else?
um, Not at the moment. I need to
Okay.
think.
Think it through. Again, I'm not just picking on you, but I'm picking on everyone. I can't be the only talking head here. Mark, I'm going to pick on you now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to look at it a few different ways. There's frequency in in how often you're touching, making contact with with the people in your sphere. And
Mhm.
then there's the, is that a personal connection? You picking up the phone or seeing them in person? Is it a more indirect, connection? Is it a birthday message? So I think you have to look, that's where you have to take your sphere and you have to kind of cut it up into pieces. There's some people that warrant, weekly connections or monthly connections, and other people, and what level of connection. Some people are worth seeing every week. Other people everybody's worth keeping on your radar. So I think you have to look at the sphere and you have to, kind of prioritize it as to, how hot a prospect that person is or how close a connection they are, and then kind of decide, how you're going to keep in touch with them, what you're going to do to keep in touch with them. I mean, obviously, look at something like Rain Nation. This is a great way, to see people, on Zoom with frequency. So,
Sure.
I think just this is a perfect example of Edmund's way of, keeping in the bay, in contact with his sphere. So, and again, I think consistency is the key, but you have to again look at, the who you need to contact, how much, and what kind of contact.
Sure. Okay. Very, very well said. Sherry Young put down here, do it for the 50th anniversary. Sherry, good tip. I'll take that. Also, call them on Sly Dial. How many people here know Sly Dial? Anyone know Sly Dial or its close cousin, Sly Broadcast?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
I haven't used it for a while though.
Well, now you might not know this, but the technology, Sly Dial is ringless voicemail. So I could send a voicemail to any one of you right now into your cellular phone, your iPhone or Google phone, whatever it might be. And without ringing, it'll actually leave a voicemail. Before it was extremely generic. It would say something like, "Hey, sorry I missed you. It's Ed, and whatever, whatever. I'm having a party. Why don't you come to it? Or there's a lecture on your sphere of influence. Maybe you could come to that." Some of you have gotten those calls. Here's the thing. Live Broadcast is now using AI, which you might not know. So you could actually mail merge a call. So instead of saying, "Hey, it's Ed," it could say, "Hey, Mark, I'm sorry I missed you. Hey, Carmen, I'm sorry I missed you. Hey, Wendy, I'm sorry. It could actually mail merge a voice together and leave a voicemail for 1,000 people or more. You could go nuts with all that stuff. So I'm a huge fan with it. I think it's an underused technology. Uh, Daniel left it in here, slybroadcast.com. If anybody wants a personal demo on it, let me know. I could show you just what we do with it. And in fact, I'm going to probably have a lot of you called with it later today. It's a technology that can be abused. So be careful. Don't screw your reputation with just botting everything out and automating everything. You need to bring your own personality into this, but it's a great assist. And if you look at building your career here as setting up a brick wall, you've got so many different bricks that you're actually putting in the wall. That's just one brick in the wall. Your social media presence is just one brick in the wall. You're giving to church, synagogue, mosque, whatever you might be a part of. It's just one more brick in the wall. And we're trying to talk here about how to build that wall to be able to make you as strong as you possibly can in dealing with this. Here's another exercise to help you along. Please write this down. Make an exhaustive list of everyone who not only gave you a lead, uh, who tried to give you a lead, but also gave you a lead that went on to close. Make that list. Share the number on the Rain Nation page on Facebook if you're bold enough to do so. Share it here with us if you want to. Make that list and then reverse engineer it. What can you do to stay in touch with that particular person? It's a very telling exercise. There's somebody who came to the meeting who said, "You know what? I realized close to half of my business was delivered by one person. Did he even send the guy a birthday card? No, he fucked up. It's not good. We want to fix that." Okay, we want to be able to, and it's not that the guy's cruel. In fact, just the opposite. One of the nicest people I know. But it was never a clear reflection on where things came from, and it was taken for granted. Here's a place where you just shouldn't take things for granted. So the first things first, if you actually build that list and then reverse engineer it and say, what can you do for each one of those people that is both time efficient and effective? That's one of the things that I ask myself all the time. The Pomodoro technique, we've talked about this in previous meetings. Set 25 minutes aside with a timer where you're going to work on this 25 minutes a day. If I could have my way with you, if I could have my way and you could do this, this will work. Spending at least 25 minutes a day on your sphere is a phenomenal way to actually build business and to be able to get more out of it. What else? Who else has found business in the more usual way through these people? What are some of the ways? Again, when I ask a open-ended question, I don't get the answers that I'm looking for. But my hope is that we could have some Eitan, I'm seeing double. Look at this. Yeah, you're on twice here. It's okay. I don't mind seeing double. Wendy, Laura, Hedeka, can you chime in on this? Maybe?
I'm trying to find my voice.
Okay,
so.
good. You found your voice. That's great. So tell everyone who you are and where you are.
Yeah, I'm Hedika Azizi. I'm in Long Island.
Okay.
So yeah, actually, I had few people that I'm in the business for almost, I don't know, 25, 26 years. So I had bunch of investors that they repeatedly, they bought with me, they rented with me, they ended up selling with me, or just do 1031 exchanges with me. And I always like holidays, I would send them treats, flowers. I just call them randomly to say hi. I'm always in their face, and I don't know, just keeping in touch and being nice and like treating them like as family. That's how I do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And over the years, what percent of business came from people that you know or people in your sphere?
Most of it,
Most of it.
definitely. Yeah.
That's the thing, guys. If it's not the case, then so be it. I think you could certainly get more from the people that you know. If it is the case, almost certainly we're ignoring that. And I think it's an interesting human trait to take certain things for granted. But these are people that need to be fed, that need to be explained, and you need to actually come up with an individual marketing campaign for each person that is in your sphere and in your life. We've talked about things before. There are dog days. I said to someone on my team started the Dogs of Boca Raton as an Instagram account. Phenomenal. Great way to get in touch with people in masses. I'm sitting here with my golden doodle. I bet some of you have your dogs around. And she consistently stayed in touch with people. She met them, took a picture with them with their dog, put it up in the Instagram account, which the people were happy enough to sign up for. And lo and behold, the relationship actually spurs and people actually start to look things up. Why? Because people are nuts about their dogs. It's just one idea that I'm throwing out to you. Can it work as the dogs of Scottsdale, Arizona? Of course it can. Hedeka, can it work as the dogs of Long Island? Well, I don't know if you're a dog lover, but the point of the story is this, that there are means of actually building that campaign. And if you leave this meeting and it's just going to be same all, you're going to get the same results. If you really stop and think through how you could take it to the next level, that would be really amazing. Now, some of you actually put politics into this. Thank God I stopped getting the robocalls of voting for Trump and voting for Biden. I don't know if I was the only one that got all those robocalls, but there seems to be some camaraderie in discussing what's going on with the current state of affairs. Very, very dangerous stuff. If you let people know your true political thoughts, sometimes people don't really like that. But it is a conversation starter, and it is a tribe of people that you're able to actually get a hold of. Again, I'm just throwing some ideas out there to you. What about popular culture? Did anyone see Wicked? I know Daniel saw Wicked. I saw Wicked. Okay, again, I'm man enough to admit that I saw Wicked. It's I'm popular. Anyway, it was it's an interesting thing because once again, it gives you motivation to speak to people. You
Do
know,
it again. Do it again, Edmund.
anyway, um, Taylor Swift, the end of her concert. Once again, it's another shared experience. So I'm trying to get all of you to think through the shared experiences that you may have with people who are in your sphere, and then we could build an actual bridge into how you could build business from that constantly. That's what we're doing. The model works. You hear me say this all the time in the meetings. Okay. Wendy put up a heart, so I guess she really liked Wicked. I think that's kind of cute. Anyway, she quickly took the heart away. Anyway, um, when you could actually name a shared experience, you're going to have that much more of a chance to build a relationship. And once you actually have that, to build the bridge into asking for the business is just the next step. Most of you do part of this very, very well. Where we fail and where the failure point actually happens is when you don't take it all the way. And that is to be able to either ask for the business or consistently get the message out that you do what you do. Again, it's a constant struggle that I actually have. How about this? We've talked about this in a bunch of meetings: death, destruction, and financial ruin. The three pillars of sales, at least in South Florida. Now, I say that somewhat jokingly. Why? There's always someone that's dying. Their home is going to be sold. Get over it. You're not a bad person for wanting to do the deal. You'll be a bad person for calling the next of kin while the body's still warm, but you're still not a bad person for wanting to do the business. And guess what? If it's not you, somebody's going to get the business. I'm your advocate. I want you to get the business. So death, big pillar of business. Financial destruction. Well, we find out about that. People do have to sell their homes because of loss. Again, not your fault they lost their money, but you can be a part of their solution. Okay? Life also happens. There's moving. There's things going on. Divorce. These are things that actually take place. Have you built a campaign around each of these things? It doesn't have to be everything, but I'd like to hear from all of you what you're doing and what the steps you're taking to captivate a particular market that might be filled with people that you already know. This, again, wrestle with this stuff. Because too many times agents, they come to me, and when I'm on private coaching sessions with them, they're telling me that, well, they're going to be good. They're going to do a good job and business is going to come to them as if it's osmosis. There's a shared collective conscience that we actually have out there. Let me give you another one to get into the popular news. This Meshuggah that shot the CEO in the back. What was, help me out with the guy's name. Anyone know his name?
Like Gucci owning or something. I can't remember.
Luigi something. Okay. The point is that all of us are captivated by this. Now, what are some of the things that people are saying about this very high profile story? You could throw it out in the chat if you don't want to say it. What are some
people are saying it's a message about the healthcare system in this country. Not about an assassination.
Yeah. You got plenty of people who said the guy had it coming to him. He didn't. Could it be morally deplorable choices he made? Depending upon the perspective, it may very well have been. We don't live in a society where you just get pissed off at someone and shoot him in the back. That's not my America. Could be yours, but that's not where I'm living. Okay, what are some other things that have come up collectively about this experience? There's a reason I'm asking this, guys, and it ties directly back into the relationships that you build. We are seeing a war essentially between the haves and have-nots. I think if we really want to be honest about this, we are seeing the people that are actually showing the overwhelming amount of sympathy towards this guy are looking at this and saying, well, I got screwed, therefore we're going to be able to screw somebody else.
Who hasn't been screwed by healthcare?
What?
Who hasn't been screwed by healthcare?
It's a terrible problem. But you didn't go out and shoot anyone in the back.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, now again, why do I bring this up? Popular culture, there's popular conversations. And there can be campaigns, if you will, not necessarily around a guy that shoots people in the back, but campaigns around stuff. Let's go back to the Taylor Swifts and the Wicked movies of the world. There's a way that you could actually build the relationships. You see, here's my theory. Most people don't have the time or inclination to be able to build that bridge between the people that they're meeting and the business that they could actually get out of them. And what I'm trying desperately to get you to do here is to think that through and see that once you have the relationship. Let me give you another example. If I know that Kenny, I look on LinkedIn, anyone on LinkedIn? Show of hands. Maybe somebody, a couple of you on LinkedIn. Great. LinkedIn is a great unsung social media, in my opinion. I think it's a great social media. It's terrific. And one of the things that you'll see on there is who people are connected to. Now, some people blindly connect to the whole world, but just buy this for me from a second. A deal that I recently did, I found something expired, unsold in a community, and I looked up the name of the person on the property taxes, and I found out who it was. And then I looked that person up in all my social media. One of them was on LinkedIn. Indeed, I saw that they were connected to somebody that I'm pretty darn close to. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to see, what the connection was. And indeed, I have the listing appointment. Why? Because today, now more than ever, you're able to see the connections that we have with people. It was never transparent like this. Don't believe me? Ask old timers like me and Mark and Kenny. If for those of you who haven't been in the business, it wasn't so transparent all these years. We have a hand up from Wendy Barato. Wendy, want to tell everyone who you are and where you are? You got to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I'm still in the car with my son. No, you said
Hi,
show
son.
of hands.
Oh,
You got
okay.
to ask for a show of hands. That's all.
Okay, where are you, Wendy?
I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm just taking my son and his friends. I'm on the car line at school.
Okay.
But I'm listening.
If they're listening too, kids, stay in school. Really important.
Yeah,
Very good.
exactly.
This generation. Gotta love that. Nice to meet you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the car line is a great place to potentially meet home buyers and home sellers.
Actually, Mark, you're a city person. I was a city person. I moved to Boca Raton 11 years ago. Guess what? The car line's a pain in the ass because you're in your car. Poor Wendy can't
Amen.
get out. She's got a couple kids screaming in the backseat. They're not doing the right thing. They didn't do the homework. They forgot something. Okay, somebody brought a peanut butter sandwich in, and they're not allowed to because of the peanut allergies anymore. I'm telling you, there's always something in the fucking line. Okay, the line has become a problem. Walking the kids to school is a lot better off. So, Wendy, do you agree with that, or no?
I definitely agree with that. I used to walk them to school, and that would have been a great time, but not the car line.
Yeah, the car line is tough. Mark, you just don't know, man. You never sat in the car line. That's a tough place. Everyone's very tough in the car line.
It's a rough crowd on the car line.
Yeah, you think the hood and Biggie Smalls is tough? Try the car line. To middle school, it's tough stuff. Okay, who else? Before we get to wants, needs, and brags, I want to hear from some of you. What are some of the things that you're doing as far as connecting with your sphere of influence and the people? The workbook will help you if you actually stop and think through. But I really want you to take the time, make the commitment to reconnecting with a person a day.
Hey, Edmund, I noticed Carmen made a comment that she's guilty of not following up with her sphere, hence her business might be down. She's on LinkedIn, sorry, but she's driving, so she can't talk. But just being on LinkedIn, if I can jump in, is one thing. You have to be active on LinkedIn. The real magic, they say, is sliding into somebody's DM. So comment on something, someone else's post, get into conversation with them. Just being, having your name on LinkedIn, even connecting with some people, is really kind of the tip of the iceberg for utilizing the benefits from LinkedIn, I would say, Carmen.
Sure. It's great, great advice and great stuff to stay on. Here's another exercise to help you along. Once again, look in your calendar, take a look at how many people you've actually gotten together with in the last month, in the last year, if it's possible. Exactly how many meetings did you have? What was meaningful? What was not? How do you make those meetings go up exponentially? Again, some of you might say this is the master of the obvious. And if you do, I salute you. I hope you're already doing this. I'm just shocked at how many people don't. Lavette, my good friend, I saw your hand go up briefly, but then it kind of disappeared. Are you still with us?
Yes. I was going to say I don't do a great job with my sphere, and I really do need to get better at that. So I'm I was sitting here just kind of just running some ideas through my head of how I can, stay in contact with them. But I do pop buys, a few times a year. Um, Also, I just created a Facebook page for my neighborhood.
Okay.
So we already have a couple, but they're ran by the Civic League. So they're stiff, they're boring, and they're restrictive. So I want mine to be more fun and engaging, something where people can actually post. They can't post on those other pages. So I think they kind of just stay off of them because it's stupid to them. It's stupid to me too.
Sorry, I missed what's stupid?
I just started a Facebook page for my neighborhood.
Okay.
There's other Facebook pages, but they're run by the Civic League and
Got it.
they're very restrictive, they're strict and they're boring. So I wanted something fun and engaging for the neighbors that they can actually post, birthdays, stuff about their kids or pets or what's going on in the neighborhood.
Sure. Okay, listen, and for those of you who've heard it before, I'm gonna just say it again here. Livette, did you create that after I showed you Nuda, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and the surrounding areas, or had you done it before?
Yeah, I just did it. I just did it the other day.
Good. Very proud of you. You see, it's great. Livette, there's something different about her. She actually hears ideas and she acts on it. You guys need to be like Livette. This is new to Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and the surrounding areas. Let's take a look at the features of this. It's a site that I made. Everything is almost entirely AI. There's 9,000 members in this group. She's AI, very nice, pleasant looking, and people post their own stuff. I got to get back on here and take a little bit more of a look, but we could take a look at the participant requests that come in. People ask the question, or ask questions. Do you rent? Do you own? Or are you planning to buy? Some of them answer it. Most of them want to get on our newsletter, as you could see. So this person gave us her information, and we actually put these people, into our email newsletter, and we're able to actually stay in touch with some of them. I'm just trying to look here. This guy, Donnie, is a homeowner, joined Facebook 8 years ago. Again, important stuff. If he joined 8 weeks ago, he could very well be a bot or somebody that's not real. In general terms, the older the contact on Facebook, or the longer they've joined it, the more likely they are real. We know that he lives in Boca Raton. He told us that. We know that he's a homeowner. We could get a lot of information out of that. The question becomes, do you want to do anything with that information? Do you want to start a marketing campaign around these people? Because look at the features that we actually have. There's a bunch of technologies where we could skip trace the guy and get his number. We already have his email address. We already know he owns a home. If he's telling the truth, I should very easily look him up in the tax records and see how long has he owned the home? What kind of relationship can we build? Now, for some of you, this is the opposite of going nuts on the sphere of influence that you actually have, but it's a great tool. Livette's doing it. And what is going on? Why do people even want to sign up to New to Boca Raton, Delray Beach? By the way, go ahead and sign up for it. Knock yourself out. Because people are curious. They're either curious about what's going on now, or it really is driven largely by our content. I focused on my farm. I dropped off using that tool. So a lot of the posts have grown stale. It's a mistake. I need to fix that. So again, I put myself out there, warts and all, but it's a technology that works. It's led to business. It's something that's free. And every third or fourth thing that you see on Facebook is a paid advertisement. That's why it's important, because the one thing that you've got is a story in you. There's a life experience that you have that I can't compete with. It might be the parents of gay kids. I've seen that online where they have thousands and thousands of followers that they actually have a chat in support of their gay son or daughter. I've seen certainly alcoholics have this thing, or drugs. I've seen people who are single. You've got the single route. Again, what's the connection between alcoholics and all this? The connection is it's community. And if you actually work on building that community, you could go somewhere with this. Again, there's something in you that I can't compete with. Now, where did I come up with this idea? There's a neighbor of mine who started a Facebook group. She's got over 100,000 followers. The woman's almost 80 years old. She doesn't even know how to turn her computer on. Okay? I know. I've helped her fix her printer. Nice lady. How did you start a Facebook group with so many people? She lost her husband. She started a bereavement group. It's a life experience that I've not had. And of course, I'm immediately thinking, how do you monetize this? Now that she has no interest in monetizing anything. But if you want, there's something in you. Mark, Fat Boy. Mark started the Fat Boy Fit Club. Men have a very easy time calling each other fat boy. Try not to do that to women. I know that they take the note to self. It's bad. How many people join the Fat Boy Fit Club?
285.
Okay. And do you know all of them intimately? You know them all very well?
Not all of them, but a good amount of them.
Are you still pushing it out there?
I haven't as much, but once a fat boy, always a fat boy, as you said,
Yeah.
Ed.
And he made a little logo with his face on it, and he started that whole thing. And once again, it resonated with the group of people. You guys, you're doing everything fine. There's nothing wrong with you. The thing that's wrong is you don't have a vehicle that you need to take you from point A to point B. Once you actually build the relationship, then we could talk about ways of how we could extract the opportunity out of them. It's a 1-2 punch. It's not just here, hire me. You've got to figure out what you're going to do to first build the bridge and second, extract the opportunity. All of you have at least 250 people in your second degree. So that means that in your first degree. So that means that Lisa's best friend, who I've never met, is someone that Lisa could pick up the phone right now and call. If I know that that friend is going to buy or sell something, how do I get Lisa to make that introduction? That's the bridge. Now here, if I know Lisa well enough, I had a reason to call, she may or may not make that introduction, but all of you aren't taking the 1-2 punch as well as you really could. And I think it could work very, very well if you try it. Anyway, look through the workbooks. Call me if you have ideas on this. Anyone else on this topic before we get to wants, needs, and brags? Okay. Now's the time of the meeting where we'd like to talk about what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. I've had a great week, and I am certainly in need of more people moving to South Florida, and I pay referral fees. So if any of you have that, that's something that I have need for you. See, it's that simple. Anybody have a need or a brag?
I do.
Okay, Lisa. Oh, look at you. Wow. Hi. But I want to point out, everyone, that it's very, very early in Scottsdale, Arizona right now. And you look
It is. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's not very, it was very early, but
okay.
Morning's moving along. Okay, I've heard something last night, and I'm not exactly sure how to say this, but my mother, okay, big team agent in my office held a Christmas party at our country club. She had 2 of them, actually, 50 people at a time. And my mother crashed my competitor's party.
Okay.
For a free dinner. What can I say? That's my
mom. Mom's great.
Mom's good. She lives in the neighborhood, went for the free dinner. So she's sitting at this table with somebody, and she could not tell me how this came up in conversation, but the woman said, Lisa Murray is the best real estate agent I have ever known.
Wow.
I know. And I'm dying to figure out who this person could possibly be. Talk about losing touch with sphere.
Yeah. Was there anyone else that I would just ask the people that were at the party? I'm
going to ask Karen, the agent who hosted the party, if she knew who was sitting at the table with my mom. That's all I can think to do.
Yeah. No, listen, there's something very nice about hearing those things. It's worth celebrating because there's probably enough people that have they could see. Sometimes we think that they're going to say the opposite or they're not going to say anything at all. It's very nice. You know, my grandmother used to say nobody's beyond a compliment, which she was a smart lady. She was right. So thank you for that. Well, yeah. I'm not beyond a compliment. You could compliment me. I'll like you more. I really will. You know, Mark has been very complimentary. I like him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing. Who else wants, needs, and brags? Come on, guys. You got a room full of agents here that could do. Mark, go ahead.
So in addition to title insurance, which I've done for 18 years, I'm also a partner in a private equity fund. We raise money for, we're the largest land developer in the Carolinas. So our funds take a minimum check of $50,000 and we take 1031 investments too. And we're happy to pay referral fees to agents. So if you want to find out more about that, reach out to me. Love to talk to you and give you more information.
And even if you don't, Mark's a good guy to know. So Mark,
Yeah, even if you're not interested in that, reach out.
and he's a fat boy, so we like fat boys. Uh, who
Hey,
else?
it's the season for fat boys.
It's the season.
Hey, girls.
Thank you. It is fat boy season. We see fat boys everywhere.
Gluttony is timeless.
Yeah, no, that's coming from someone who took his Manjaro shot this morning. So, we're good. Who else?
I don't know if it's a brag, but I sold this guy a co-op 10 years ago,
Okay.
and he moved to Maryland, and we are closing on his apartment on Thursday. So 10 years being in touch, I guess, shows that, I keep in touch with people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. You name it. That is a brag. That's worth it. Who else? Anyone else? Okay. Before we end, I have a moral dilemma that I was hoping to run by this group. Do you guys have time to help me out with this? This is a deal that I'm actually involved in.
Sure.
Okay. So here's the thing. I took a referral from an agent that's in Palm Beach. The guy came here. He bought a home for 1.85 million. Great. He said to me, Ed, if you get a bigger place, and I paid her 30 cents on the dollar, right? So it was a very generous finder's fee. The contract between her and I says that she's going to get paid on the buy side, not the sell side. So is everyone sticking with me for a second that it was a referral fee? You should be fairly familiar with this. Okay, great. Now the guy comes to me and says, if you could get a bigger place for me, I want to sell this immediately and get a bigger place. And I did. And I sold his place and he bought a bigger place. The place that I sold, I did not pay her a commission on. The place that he bought, the effect of the contract is still in effect. Now she's calling me, and I have a feeling she's going to be saying to me that she wants the commission from the sale of his place as well, even though the contract never said that, nor would I have agreed to that. What are your thoughts on all of this? Again, I may or may not agree with you, but I am curious to see what, I'm going strictly with the letter of the agreement, and I'm curious to I've got a room full of agents here. What are your thoughts?
Hey, I think you go with the four corners of the contract.
Okay, Greg goes with the contract. Eitan?
She did bring you the client. He did do a double transaction, a triple transaction.
Mm.
And your argument is that she is only on the buy side. So the sale of the second leg, the sale of the property, she doesn't deserve anything?
She didn't get anything, no.
You still wouldn't have had it.
But you did pay her for the third one.
I paid her for him buying into the first one, not for him selling that first one, but for him buying into the second one. Yes.
Wow, that's okay.
You see?
So Edmund, you paid on both buy side?
I paid on both buy sides, but not on the sell side. By the way, the sell side, not that it matters, I cut the commission tremendously so that we could get all of these deals done. But that's irrelevant, I think. I mean, what I made is not the case. I'm just trying to find out from all of you where the moral compass should be. Now, obviously, there's also the practical side. Will I get a lead from her ever again? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm just curious to hear Mark, I'd love for you to chime in on this.
Sorry, actually, I didn't hear the whole stuff.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So for those of you that did, any other thoughts?
Yeah, why don't you actually talk to her, have a conversation? Maybe it'll come up, maybe it won't. It probably will, and put it back on her and just ask, what do you think would be fair?
Okay, she thinks that it's fair that she gets paid for absolutely everything this guy ever does. What do we do?
Not ever.
Ever. According to the contract, if the guy keeps buying from me, I have to keep paying her 30 cents on the dollar.
No,
Really?
but
There's no
within
end
what
date?
time period? This was within 1 year?
Forever. For the life of the client. Forever.
No, the actual truth right now, the situation. How long was there before the 3 transaction? Less than a year?
It's 6 months, yeah.
I think you owe her a commission.
I do too.
Okay. But
If
Greg,
it was me and it was you and you did not pay me, we will be in big trouble, my friend.
Okay, I would say that you need to read the contracts a little bit better, but okay. It's apparently you're not the only one that feels that way. I regard you as a great professional, certainly Lisa. I'm just curious to see where this goes. I liken it to this. Did anyone, I don't know how it works in other states. When I do a deal here, the listing agreements that we have will state that if we get you a deal and the deal falls apart, we get to keep 50% of the deposit as liquidated damages or whatever we actually get negotiated. Most people don't pay much attention to that because they don't assume that the deal they're doing is going to fall apart. But the times that it has, I've seen agent after agent collect on this. The sellers have been somewhat upset about that. I mean, once again, like, what's the purpose of these agreements if you're not going to actually honor them? Just a thought.
It's just good karma.
It's a karma. Kenny, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I mean, first, if you reduced it, you should reduce whatever, if it's see what your bottom line is on there and give her something. It doesn't have to be huge, but also in contracts, you're saying it's forever. There's lives to contracts. I mean, to have a contract, it has to have some type of expiration date. So
it's not so. If you look at the referral agreement, it just says on any deal. There's no time limit.
Yeah.
So contractually, you have a problem. Well, contractually, you're right, but ethically, it's your commission. But contractually, you can't owe her for every single lifetime. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Contractually, for everything that he buys, yes. I mean, you could say whatever you want. I'm just saying, according to whatever we both agree, and this is Elman's form. This is my company's form. So I throw it out. Greg, what?
I like the idea of talking to her and negotiate something less, but still give it consideration.
Okay, Greg.
I agree. You need to have the conversation, return her call, and you may very well hear, "Thank you so much for taking such great care of my client." Period. Right.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know until you talk to her.
Yeah, get some feelings and facts on it. But if something is due, who knows what is, and maybe if you want to get that client, go ahead.
If I were you, I would change that form. I would never sign a form like that again.
Yeah.
Totally. It's got to be.
But on the flip side of it, I am honoring anything that the guy buys. I'm just saying that if he sells it, that's not part of the contract.
Right.
See, I agree with you, Edmund. A contract is a contract. Like if you're giving her every single thing that they buy, that was the contract, and you're sticking to that life of the contract, which you're saying is forever. But if you're selling something, why on earth would you give her a cut like that? You could send her a gift, a thank you, you could keep relationship, but why would you have to give her a commission if the contract states exactly what the agreement is?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the other way to look at it, because there is the buy and the sell on those contracts. I know those contracts. So
once again, the law is on my side. I liked Lisa's answer in that you've got karma, you've got the future of other leads that may or may not come in as a result of it. On the other hand, if the leads don't come in, it's not because I wasn't honest and ethical. I was. I mean, I take this thing head on. I've got a call with her. I don't like having those calls. Nobody likes conflict. At least most normal people don't.
Just say, hey, there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Or a dog.
Or a dog. That's Ozzy. Little Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And you don't want this agent referring that person to somebody else, and then you have nothing in the future, right?
Or spreading bad stuff about you.
True.
I hope not. I hope not. In any case, I throw that out there. If anyone has ideas that they want to discuss with me afterward, that would be great. I really do like all the feedback. Anyone else at this point want to chime in? Eitan, you look all perky.
Think of it like procuring cause.
Well, it was procuring cause.
Yeah, right? I'd pay somebody a referral fee all day long to stay out of that. Just have a good relationship with an agent.
Yeah. It's an interesting kind of thought.
Do you like the person?
What?
Do you like the person?
Of course I like the person.
So pay
the
her
right
the,
person.
pay her the commission and tell her that the deal is terminated. This is the last commission I do. The next time this guy buys, it's you're not
Yeah,
gonna.
I don't know, but the deal's not terminated. She's going to go for whatever the letter of the agreement actually is. And I guess, you know, I like hearing the fact that there is controversy here, that to me it's very cut and dry, just as it is with Greg, that the four corners of the contract. And then to a lot of others are saying, well, there's a gray area here. It's nice to hear the various opinions, and certainly I'm more on the side of Greg and Wendy. Um, I'm just curious to see how something like this gets cured. I certainly don't like bad karma, and also I'm not going to be a pushover. And I don't want any of you to be that pushover either.
Well, you could get clarity from this one and just say, look, I'm going to give you something on this for the first time, but in the future, no, right? I mean, you could go ahead forward with some agreement just on the buy side. I don't know.
Maybe she agrees with the contract, Edmund.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not expecting anything.
Yeah, maybe.
Until you talk to her.
Contracts aside, you basically have a relationship, and
Right.
this is her relationship, and you're profiting from that. So you owe her the money.
Nah, it's not that easy. I paid her twice. The one was 30% of a commission from 1.85. The second one was 30% of the buy side for 3,150,000. You could do the math. It's not a little bit of money. The second time going out, I was supposed to get a $50,000 commission selling his place. I took a haircut on that deal to the tune of $25,000 so that I could get the deal done. So yeah, Greg is nodding no. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that that's what it is. It's interesting to see the fury or the belief on either side of this.
You still have 70% of something that you wouldn't have otherwise had.
Yeah.
I think you haven't had the conversation with her yet. You don't know that this is really why she's calling.
Right.
I bet you she's calling to say thank you for the second check.
Okay.
Entirely
Greg,
possible.
I will let you know that.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
I will let you know that. But
Next week, we're gonna get the answer.
you might, but again, that's what I'm trying to use a network like this for. And I hope all of you, that you're my board of advisors. I want to be your board advisors. I want you to be able to rely on people. I oftentimes do this. Now, Wendy really wants to know. I love Wendy. Wendy's great. How old are your kids, Wendy? She's still
Sorry,
trying.
I have 6 of them, but my youngest is now 15 and 2 grandbabies.
Oh my goodness, you've got 6 kids. Wow, you got
Yes.
a football team. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot.
wow, that's a lot. And where do you live?
I live now in Dallas, Texas, but
Yeah.
we've been in New Jersey for my entire life, up until the last 4 years.
Yeah, well, with 6 kids in New Jersey, it seems probably cheaper in Dallas than in New Jersey.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, that's 6 kids. I can't keep track of 2 and the dog.
Yeah.
The dog is my favorite these days. But
Forget about the dogs and the turtles and the frogs.
and turtles. Okay, we've got turtles too. Okay, guys, look, it's great to Wendy. I hope you come back. I really love having you. Eitan, you put the little to join the Ray Nation on the side there. So I hope that we do that. Daniel, you could send it to Wendy because she's driving, as well as to the other Wendy Grandel, and anyone else who's in the meeting here. We'd love to be able to have you here trying it. And all that said, where is Terry? Terry, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Terry's ready, which makes me say it really is great seeing all of you today. It sure is fun having you. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another exciting episode of
Ray Nation.
There we go. That was great. Boy, it brings a tear to my eye every time Terry does that. Thanks a lot, folks. We'll talk soon.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.